Hey there, Daniel from GrowYourMusicStudio.com. In this video, I want to talk about a question that was sent in to me yesterday from someone who watches the videos on this channel. It was from Martin, and he was asking about the problems that I have encountered while teaching group lessons that have multiple levels of students in group. This has been a topic that a lot of people have asked, and I'm actually in between. I'm in my studio right now. I'm in between group lessons, so I only have a few minutes to do this video. So this is going to be a short one because, as it turns out, the problems that I've had doing group lessons with multiple levels in them has actually not been all that great. The problems I've encountered have actually been minimal, and I want to talk about those very briefly here in between two groups that I have coming in today. So the question came, it was actually a comment that was asked on yesterday's video. Martin asked, let's see, I'm gonna read it here. What has been the biggest struggle for you in group lessons with different skill levels? So very briefly, here are my thoughts. Number one, marketing. Marketing has been a struggle, and I don't mean my marketing. I mean marketing by group methods and curriculums that exist, that are out there in the world, okay? And so here's the thought I have for you. Marketing seeks to present us with a version of the world that is easy for us to adapt our thinking to. There's so many group curriculums and group methods out there that say, our way is the best. And so there's all these methods, there's competing, ways of viewing how to do it. Our version of how to teach a staff is better. Our particular way of teaching rhythm is better. These are the games that you should play in group. So this is what all the group methods and curriculums that are out there kind of seek to compete with each other. But here's what goes unnoticed. When you see this squabble between all these different group curriculums, this is what goes unnoticed when you see all these different methods and competitors competing. What we miss is this. There's a hidden message that gets communicated to us when we see this. And that's that we actually need a group method, that we actually need a group curriculum. This is the message that gets communicated, and we accept it simply because we think, oh, the market must be right. There's all these different group methods and group curriculums out there. I can't imagine teaching group without a group method or group curriculum. And then all these companies seek to say to us, yes, you absolutely do need a method or a curriculum. And so we believe that we need something that's officially branded as group. And so that was my biggest hurdle, was actually seeing that wasn't true. And who was going to tell me that? Were all these group methods and curriculums going to tell me that? Of course they weren't. I kind of had to think outside of the box. And that really gets me to a concept that really comes up a lot for me just in my own personal life. And then with the many different studio owners that I work with, is this idea of, are we going to create something from the past, or are we going to create something from the future? All right, and I don't want to be too cryptic here. I'll briefly try to explain this, but when you create something from the past, you look out at what's in the world and you try to find the best version of what it is you're trying to create. And so that can breed a lot of feelings of angst, of anxiety. It can breed a lot of discontent with ourselves as we seek to make the best decision. So when you try to create something new, like a group curriculum, when you try to create from the past, these are the feelings that will come up for you. When you create from the future, what you do is you say, what's the outcome that I'm looking for, and how best can I get there? And then you reject the easy answers as easy answers. You consider them. I'm not saying that you shouldn't consider a group curriculum or group method. It's worked for a lot of people. That's why those companies are in existence, because they've served a lot of people really well. But for me, those methods posed a problem. And that was how, in a studio of my size, which at the time it was about 60 students, how in the world am I going to get every single level 1 student to agree to come at 1 of 2 times in the week, when there are so many different families I have that say, oh, we can come this day, but not that day. And everybody had their own particular day. And what was going to happen is I was going to have a group program where I had 5 or 6 different level 1 groups with 2 kids in them. It just didn't work for me. And so as I sought to solve that problem, I had to create something from the future. And so that really leads me to the second thing that was a big problem for me as I was creating a group program that could have multiple levels of students at the same time. And literally 11 minutes ago, I just had 5 kids leave. One was in primer level, one was in 2A, one was a teenager in the accelerated level 1, by the way, all in Faber. There was a 2B student. Did I already say 3A? I think I did. Oh, and a level 1. So I had primer level 1, 2A, 2B, and the Faber for the older beginner series level 1, which is for teenagers. The ages of the children that were here were 7 to 13. All of them had their own lesson. All of them went home with a lot of pages, and none of them were impacted by the fact that someone else in that group was not working on what they were working on that day. There were no overlapping concepts in the group that literally just left. And Angela, who I'm sitting right at the piano that she was at, she literally left with 9 pages of music to go home and work on. And so that second thing that I was talking about really was fear. The second thing that stopped me from creating a group curriculum that sees multiple levels of students at the same time was fear. There's this pernicious fear. Oh no, people are going to reject this. I'm going to lose all my students over this group change, and it'll be deserved because I'm going to have a terrible product. And this is where we can really give in to, it's easy to give into that marketing because we have all these fears that are kind of present in our head, and marketers are only all too happy to confirm those fears that you have. Oh, it is going to be terrible if you don't, go with a method or a curriculum. And so for me, those were the 2 things to overcome. Once I overcame them and created something new, something that worked for me, there was no problem at all. Because what I did was I created from the future. I looked at the end result that I wanted, and I created from there. And really, the end result was this. And I've said this over and over again. I go back to first principles. I've been saying this for a decade now. Even before I was making videos or I was doing the Grow Your Music Studio, blog and social media channels. The main messages I have for people and that I had for myself is, if you solve the practice problem, you win. I've been saying this for 10 years. I was saying this, within my own MTNA chapter and different local piano teacher groups and teacher groups that I've been involved with. If you solve the practice problem, you win. The practice problem being defined as, if you can make it so that kids get a great result, no matter what they do at home, you win. If you can make learning music and learning an instrument feel easy for a kid, you win. And so I thought, how can I use the structure of group lessons, not a curriculum, not a method, but the structure of group lessons to solve those problems? And so that's what I did. I built my hour-long group lessons around really 3 concepts. Solve the practice problem, give kids the maximum time possible to work. Don't fill up the hour with frivolous games and apps and busy work and seat work, and then help them become incredible sight readers. And those are the 3 concepts I built my group program around. And what I discovered is, when I came up with that solution, when I came up with those ideas, what I realized was that I could do this without a curriculum or method. I could use any method, and I didn't need to track kids. I didn't need them to all be at the same level at the same time, because I could do that regardless of if those kids were all the same level or not. So there have been times where I've had a group with multiple kids that are in like level 1 of Faber, let's say, or primer level of Faber. Didn't matter to me. I still treated them the same way I would have if every single kid in that group was all on a different level, like the kids who just left here a few minutes ago. So to finally answer the question, although I have been kind of answering it the whole time, to answer Martin's question, what's the biggest hurdle that I've had? And Julie says, I love my studio now. I look forward to my classes every day. Julie is actually one of the studio owners out of 150 studio owners who've gone through my successful group lessons training, where I basically talk about how to do method bookless group lessons where you can mix multiple levels at the same time. Anyway, getting back to my thought, because I'm ending the video here because I have another group coming in very, very soon, is just a simple thing. The biggest hurdle was on the front end. It was overcoming this preconceived notion of what group lessons should be so that I could create something that actually serves students. And while it would be difficult, even in an hour-long video, to get into all the things that I do in my group lessons now without method books, without a group method, just using regular lesson books, how I help kids sight read so quickly, how I help kids go home with 8, 9, 10 pages every single week, it would be very difficult to do that even in an hour-long broadcast like this. Needless to say, if you start with the end in mind, I think you can have a really, really great result. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. This is going to be a short video today. Like I said, I am doing question and answer videos all throughout the month of May in anticipation of kind of my annual summer training where I help studio owners increase their margins in their studio, whether you're a single teacher studio or a multiple teacher studio, by kind of bringing people into my studio, not physically, but digitally, and showing exactly how I run my group lesson program. So if you'd like to ask me a question about group, or how to market group, or how to fill group lesson program, after this broadcast is over, I'm going to edit the text part of this post and leave a couple links. One will be to a free ebook I wrote that talks about how to fill a group lesson program. You can download that for free. There's no cost. People have downloaded that and had great success using the information I give there. The second thing is just a simple form where you can leave a question for me. I'm going to answer those questions daily, and maybe as we get to the end of the month, even maybe more than once a day, simply because there's so many questions coming in. I'm having a hard time keeping up with them. So I'm going to edit that. Thank you so much. If this was a helpful video for you, I'd love for you to hit that like button. It's going to help that kind of go up in the news feed so more people can see it. And look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Leave a question below, or if you have a question about something I've said in this video, just leave it there. I'll answer all comments. Even if you find this video a year later, I'll answer all comments. All right, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.